A very positive step has been made in the direction of ensuring that the Long Beach Grand Prix happens in the year 2021. The race has been rescheduled to the weekend of September 26th. It will now serve as the finale for the NTT IndyCar Series, and it will be broadcast, unfortunately, on NBC Sports Network. Now, this will conclude a happy accident, which is a September West Coast swing for IndyCar, also including Portland and WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. I always do that with the Mazda. Speaking of Laguna Seca, this is something that's kind of been buried, but I feel like I should talk about this as well, is that IMSA is also making this move to a late September or a September West Coast swing. Not only will they be joining IndyCar in Long Beach, as is tradition, but they will also be moving their Laguna Seca round to the same weekend IndyCar will be racing in Portland. So a week before IndyCar races in Laguna Seca, IMSA will be there on the weekend of September 12th. Now, another key point is that Long Beach officials have aimed or are aiming for an unrestricted environment. And that's a very key point and one of several things that we need to discuss about Long Beach being rescheduled. So let's focus on the positives first, because this is, in my opinion, a very positive move. I think it was very obvious, especially based on the fact that NASCAR already preemptively canceled the race at Fontana and moved it to the Daytona Road Course, that California is going to be locked down going well into the spring. No doubt about it. So rather than try to play games or wait it out too long and end up in a situation similar to last year, they made a very proactive move and moved Long Beach to the season finale and actually got it there this time. There was actually talk this year in 2020 about moving Long Beach to like October. They were working on that. Eventually it didn't end up happening. But this is a very positive step for a lot of reasons. And I got to give a lot of credit to the Penske Corporation, IndyCar, to IMSA, to all of the partners for getting this done this early, getting a move done, and that's some real leadership. Is it a guarantee that it's going to happen? No, and that's another thing we're going to be talking about in this video. But this group has proven that they can do this when all of the parties are working in unison. If everybody wants to get it done, a street course can be moved, or a date for a street course can be moved. And look no further than St. Petersburg, where they had everything set up. I mean, literally, they were ready to have a race. The pandemic hit, had to shut everything down, took away a lot of the barriers, brought them back later in the year. That was a monumental task. This construction hasn't even begun on Long Beach yet. So, in a lot of ways, assuming they get cooperation from local officials, I mean, this seems like it would be a slam dunk. Of course, we know that that's probably not the case. But looking at it on the surface, it's really exciting. I thought the St. Petersburg finale was absolutely kick-ass, honestly. I'm starting to think, why not end the series on a big street circuit? Now, certainly, I don't think Long Beach is going to permanently move to September, though it's interesting because the very first Long Beach Grand Prix, which is a Formula 5000 race, actually took place in September. But this could be, again, assuming that they have a full crowd or a large enough crowd to really make a difference. I think there could be a really passionate, engaged audience there for the IndyCar Championship and to crown an IndyCar champion, especially if you have two or three guys going into the finale with a chance to win it. I think there could be a big game feel, and that's something that IndyCar has tried to do for a very long time, which is try to get their season finale to be something special. And nothing against Laguna Seca or Sonoma before it, and even Fontana, even though I think that was a better championship track than the road courses. They just haven't really been able to get that hype level going. Having Long Beach as the finale, there's going to be that hype that is with a traditional race, which has now taken a year, will have taken a year and 3/4 hiatus by the time they actually run it. So the hype is going to be off the charts. If you have a couple of popular drivers going for the championship, that's going to be massive. Just imagine if it's let's say Herta, Rossi, and Newgarden. Holy smokes! Maybe, and Jimmy Johnson. I mean, that's another thing to think about. Jimmy Johnson's going to be there. Jimmy Johnson's final race of his first IndyCar season is going to be at the track that kind of got him going into IndyCar racing. There's going to be a lot of storylines with this, and that's very, very exciting as far as I'm concerned. Now, you're going to hear something that you're probably not going to hear in a lot of other media outlets. There's a lot of positivity here. I'm excited. But just because they moved the date, that doesn't mean that Long Beach is suddenly out of the woods. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Is this a guarantee that this event is going to happen? I would say absolutely not. I mean, the situation, just because you moved a date does not mean the situation has changed in California. It is still the same state. It will be the same state in September that it is now. The difference, of course, will be case numbers, vaccinations, wherever the goalposts move, that's where they're going to be in September. And are the restrictions going to be gone? I don't know. And so when the Long Beach officials are talking about they want things unrestricted, they are also on the record as saying they pretty much can't make the event work without fans. So, and you got to imagine that they're going to need a pretty significant size. I mean, I'm just going to spitball a number, maybe 75% of what they got in 2019, the last time they run the event. I mean, I don't think they would be able to take a significant cut. And, if California even allows them just to run it without fans, I don't know if they would be able to do that. And so, we're still going to have to pay attention to this because you could theoretically lose two events, the two events in California to finish the season, Laguna and Long Beach. You could potentially lose 3 with Portland. Who knows what's going to happen on the West Coast? It's not a guarantee. It really isn't. And you can't operate because we also know that Roger's not going to fight City Hall. And, I mean, there's precedent for that, especially with the Indianapolis 500. I think it's the glowing example. If local officials are not feeling it, there's really not a lot that Roger Penske would be able to do in that particular scenario to get Long Beach. I mean, unless he spent an ungodly amount of money to either appease whatever local officials would need for social distancing or how many people could be there, and then you would also have to subsidize Long Beach. That would be millions of dollars for the road closures and the lack of fans, and so this is definitely not something that's over by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I will just make a prediction now. We're going to be talking about this as, on the edge. It's like, this is going to be a will they or won't they thing for pretty much until there are cars on the racetrack, and even then, who knows? So, you could get shut down in the middle of the weekend. You just can't know until they throw that checkered flag and the race has been concluded. To me, Long Beach is still going to be a question mark, and there's going to be a lot of races that are going to be like that next year. It's just unfortunately the world we live in right now, and we're going to have to deal with that. But again, I don't want to go too far down the doomer path because I really do think that this was absolutely the right move. I think that, to their credit, the IndyCar officials, Penske Corporation, they've been extremely proactive here. IMSA has been extremely proactive here. Everybody involved has been extremely proactive here. They've looked at the situation and said, well, spring ain't going to work, but we can at least give it an old college try and try to make this event happen, because I think, I'm not saying anything controversial here. Long Beach is one of the biggest events in the country, one of the biggest races in the world, one of the most important. So it being gone for 2 years, having that population get used to not having a race for 2 years, there could be a potential that that race could go away if it's not actively worked on to save it. And hopefully, and it looks like, again, everybody involved wants it to continue if at all freaking possible. So credit where credit's due. But again, this isn't over by a long shot. This doesn't suddenly guarantee that the race is going to happen. This just gives it the best shot as things stand right now of happening. So thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more motorsport content. I think I got another video coming today that should be interesting. So subscribe to see that pop up in your notification or subscription tab. And I will see you in the next video.